All right,
Okay,
I'll
and
do
we're
it
live
again.
on there. Hang on. Okay, thank you, Carolyn.
Oh, are we ready?
Yes, you can go ahead. We're recording live.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening from across this United States as students at BYUI, as we prepare to go through our lesson on gratitude. As we all have our struggles in life, we ask Thee to watch over us and help us that we can become better and be more like Thee. And we say this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, I'm going to go right down the list here of questions. We're supposed to go through and explain the personal experiences we had as we did our gratitude activity. So who wants to go first?
I'm still working on mine.
Okay, all righty.
I guess I can go.
Did somebody just
first.
get an email from did somebody AJ just put something on? Did y'all see that? I missed it.
I didn't see it. No.
Oh, hold on. Let me go into my Gmail and see.
It looks like we don't have a group leader tonight.
AJ doesn't have the link or something because he's asking, "Are we still going to meet? Do you need more time, Cheryl?" So
yeah, no. Let me send him another. Tell him if somebody wants to send back, I'm going to send him a link. I sent it to him, and maybe it didn't go through. Yeah, I just sent the link.
Okay, we'll see if he gets on.
Oh.
I think there. No. Oh, wait. No.
Now I don't feel quite as bad. I couldn't get on.
Yeah, technology. I guess it's here to stay.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Send them again. Maybe the third time's a charm. I'm going to try this again. Yeah, that's the email I've got for him.
Yeah, because he was part of that conversation with you before class. You know, who's the leader, or whatever.
Yeah, because I remember signing up last week because it was kind of a last minute thing, and oh, there he is. Okay.
Oh, we get him.
There you are, AJ. Are you there?
Can you hear me now?
Benny, that sounded creepy, okay?
It's still early where you all are. It's really late here. That should be me, Benny.
Okay, well, Benny, okay, looks like you're muted, AJ.
Maybe he's having trouble with his mic.
Yeah, it shows here that he's muted.
Because he texted. I saw something pop up. I'm here. Uh-oh. People are being loud right now, so he's got his mic muted. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
At least I can see it when he texts or when he types in. I can see it. So.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll cut you a break. We were just gonna, Benny, AJ, just to get you caught up. Ryan was gonna share what happened with his personal experience expressing gratitude, probably yesterday. Okay, and eventually, hopefully, we can get to you, AJ.
Yeah. So I have done 2 of the 3. I'll be honest. I haven't gotten the third one, but I have the person chosen for the third one. So let's see. So I mean, the first 3 people that kind of came to my mind, obviously, first was my wife. You know, it's kind of like an easy go-to. I feel like, right? Oh, hey AJ, you're here. So it went really well. I mean, I guess I don't know how specific to be with this, but let's see. It was kind of funny. So I mean, I just basically just said, like, thank you for all these different things. I tried to be specific and genuine, and then make the whole point that the behaviors what was it? It was the behavior, how just behavior impacts, I guess. Um, my wife was funny, so she just have any of you seen Moana?
Yes.
Yes.
That song that Dwayne Johnson sings, "You're Welcome."
Yes.
So that's how my wife responded to me, which it was kind of funny. She just started singing that song. So, but it was just, I mean, it was I guess, a good experience all around, and it was just kind of funny. So that was just kind of, that was that one. And then the other one I did was one of my close friends that I've known my whole life. I actually, so he was a non-member, got baptized when he was 17, and I actually got to baptize him, which was cool. So I've known him like really well my whole life. So kind of like a best friend, So I just, he's funny because he's kind of like, he doesn't really share his feelings super well. He's just kind of like maybe just timid and shy that way. But he was just funny too. Like, he was just like, thank you, and like, he's like, oh, that's a cute note. That was how he responded, which kind of like was sarcastic, I think. So I think he just kind of made fun of me for doing that. But
Okay, fine.
he was appreciative, though. Appreciative. So I mean, it was. I thought it was fine. I don't know. What was your experiences like?
Well, my wife was suspicious. Why are you doing this? It's not a holiday. The holiday was last week. What's going on? Why are you doing this?
I like your wife, Benny.
So I told her it was kind of like and the other thing, it says, get them a treat. Well, my wife is she wants no sugar or anything until after her birthday, which is the end of March. So I'm like, okay, what do I get her instead of can't get her a treat. So what do I do? So I actually found some English daisies last night that were really cute. So I got her that, and it was like, okay, what's going on? Why are you doing this? Well, it's part of my class. Well, I like this class. Is it going to keep going on? But why are you doing this? So,
Oh, like I said, I like your wife, Benny.
And so that was that one. The second one, I gave my son a treat with his note. He was too tired last night. He said, I'll look at it tomorrow. And so I haven't had a chance to see. He hasn't said anything today. So we'll see what comes of that one. But so that's where I'm at. And I haven't done my third one yet either. So I'm glad I looked yesterday afternoon and happened to see what I needed to do. So I had time to go get something and pull it off.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Benny. I'm totally with you there.
Well, I've done one of mine. I've still got two to go. But I did in my office, there's two of us. So I did something nice for the lady that works with me. And today she'll run and get lunch. We have a really hectic schedule right now because we're going electronic medical records where I work, and that's becoming a daunting task. And so she says, I'll get lunch. I said, and I gave her my card and I said, here, just go get lunch, whatever you want. And today it was actually a beautiful day here. So we sat outside. It was 72 and tomorrow it'll be like 40. But anyways, and we just sat out and, talked to one another. And I showed her appreciation for what she does for me in the office because I'm over her, and sometimes like I said, it just gets a little overwhelming with everything. And I find that when you try to do something nice for somebody, she's kind of like, oh, you don't have to do that. I don't need that. It's part of my job to be here and do this. So she's kind of like me. She doesn't do real well with people showing praise or thank you to her. And so that was just a really nice time just to sit in the quiet, just the two of us, and so that I could show her my appreciation for everything that she does. Plus, I just don't work with her. She's a good friend outside work also. And I called and woke her up tonight because she was already asleep. I felt bad. But that's been one of my experiences.
Good start. Okay, I'll go. All right. I've done two. I don't know who else I'm going to do because I'm really kind of stuck. But obviously, like Ryan, my first shout out was to my husband, and I went to work and I waited and waited for him, and he's just on such a busy, breakneck, fast-paced schedule that either he didn't hear the overhead page or he couldn't break away or whatever. But I waited like 20 minutes for him, and so I finally had to go and put it on his desk and just kind of leave it there and figured, hopefully he'll come back before the end of the day and see it there and, everything. That was about 12:30 yesterday afternoon. I got a text from him about 4 saying that he liked it, he appreciated it, that was a nice note, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, you know what, he's going to laugh when he really finds out why. Because like Benny said, we just had Valentine's Day last week. And I was talking to the group, AJ. Our youngest son had a birthday the day after Thanksgiving, or the day after Valentine's Day. So we're just in spending mode and appliances and all this other stuff. So I thought, oh brother. But he came home and he said, oh yeah, that was really, really nice. Why? Kind of a little bit of everybody. And I said, oh honey, I said I really wanted to do something for you nice, and it was homework. He just rolled his eyes. He understood. He still appreciated it and took it in the sentiment that it was. After I went to his office, after I left his office, I went to our youngest son's office where he worked. And he worked in an entirely different environment. My son is an embroiderer at a silk screening shop, and he does vinyl for the back of jerseys and stuff like that. And he had just come back from lunch, and he was alone in the shop. So I just kind of walked in, and he turned around, and he saw me, and he stopped. He kind of smiled and he says, what are you doing here? Is everything okay? I said, everything's fine. And I gave him, the card in the little bag. And he looked at me and says, well, I'm going to open it. I said, okay, go open it. And so he opened it and he read the card and he's, oh, and then he looked in the bag and it was a caramel apple from a confectioner store here in town. And he said, why did you do this? I said, actually, it's for homework. Thank you for playing our game. And I gave him a hug and I left. It was kind of funny, but that's what I've done. And I honestly don't know who else I'm going to do for the third. I may have to, take a hit on this one because I honestly don't know who that would be. But yeah, suspicion at every corner. So what are you going to do? So how about you, AJ? Are you there, AJ?
Still working on it.
He's having difficulty, like me.
I'm gonna send a note to him.
It just popped up. He said he's still working on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, we're going to move on then to the first discussion question. What did it feel like to extend gratitude toward the 3 people or whoever you thanked? How did they feel and what was their reaction toward you? I think we just kind of covered that. Actually, I'm going to be really honest. I think as Latter-day Saints, we do express gratitude a lot. Especially when we pray, we're taught to first, after we've addressed Heavenly Father, to thank Him, and put all that first. My husband and I were just talking about Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day are kind of the same in that we're a thankful people. We're trying to be a thankful people. So Thanksgiving is just kind of an excuse for a big meal. Valentine's Day is the same kind of thing. But it didn't seem not right, but I felt like I had to force gratitude, which that kind of set sideways with me to do this for an assignment. I had a problem with that. I had a hard time with that.
I kind of agree with you. It was kind of a forced,
But do you think we get so busy in our daily routines that or for me anyways, that's just something that, like you said, it's kind of a forced thing when you have to do it. Instead of just, just doing those little tokens of appreciation whenever, we shouldn't have to have holidays to show our appreciation to the ones that we love or the ones that help us when we need help.
Kind of a funny follow-up to my son. I came home and did some more homework, and I thought, you know what, this kid really does a lot for me. If I need, he works real close to a grocery store, and I keep him stocked with a loaded gift card. So I'll just shoot him a text, honey, bring home bread, bring home milk, use the card, whatever. And so I thought, he really does a lot for me. He's kind of my my go-to guy. And so I thought, oh, normally he takes the trash out Monday night for Tuesday's pickup. So I thought, oh, I'll take out the trash for him, just to kind of, help him out a little bit. Mm-hmm. So he came home, and I was telling him about the assignment, and I said, honey, think about it. I said, I've done 2 kind of nice things for you today. What were they? And he got this deer in the headlights look. And he said, is this what it's like being married? He said, you brought me the treat, but it wasn't that. I said, you're right. And I said, what was the other nice thing I did for you? And you could just see, if he was a computer, you could just see accessing. He said, you took out the trash. I said, yeah, which one did you appreciate more? Taking out the trash. He was kind of coming along a little bit, but yeah, is this what it's like being married? Just about floored me. But I think really, honestly, to him, my taking out the trash meant more to him than bringing him a treat. I think.
AJ says, I feel like it is kind of forced to do this. I feel like in some way I do some of this on a regular sort of basis, and then it cut off, so I didn't see the rest. But
yeah, I agree with you, AJ. I think we do try to be appreciative for our family or our close friends or coworkers or whatever. So and the timing of all this, I think, like I said, with Valentine's Day just last week, I thought it was just a tricky assignment on the calendar to have to hit, so maybe, we should kind of just let that go. Going back to the, where did it go here? I lost it. Okay. What is the role of gratitude in an organization? And have you seen examples of how it increases effectiveness within the organization? First off, what is the role of gratitude in an organization?
I think it should be an important part, but there's an awful lot of organizations where it's pretty much non-existent, except maybe at Christmas time and really rare occasions. The company I work for right now, I've always been one of those that tells people thank you. I send an email, they answer back, I tell them thank you for whatever it is. I tell people thank you when they do stuff. And somebody does something for me, I tell them thank you, and they're like, Why are you saying that? I just, it's part of my job. No, you did something. And so they just it's just kind of, it's rare to see anybody else say thank you where I'm at.
That's sad.
I kind of feel like it plays a really important role. I mean, not like, I think it's on a personal level and on like a team level and on like a company level, like, especially as like if you're a manager or like I feel like if you're like the CEO or just like the boss, you need to show your employees like gratitude and because like really like if you're the CEO, you own the business, like they're all working for you, making you money, so like showing them gratitude really well. And this is kind of jumping to that next question, but I feel like it motivates people, like it's a form of recognition. I think it's something that like at least where I work, people are really motivated by that kind of thing. The other thing is that I was thinking about when I was reading one of the talks, and thinking about this question was, I'm sure some of you know Zig Ziglar, right?
Mm-hmm.
He one thing I think he's pretty well known for is he talks about having an attitude of gratitude, right? And how he has a lot of different stories around that are pretty like funny and just like surprising at how like on a personal level how you you can be so upset with your job, you can hate your job, but if you like start thinking about like what you're grateful for your job, like it can turn your whole attitude around and like really change your whole perspective on like your job and the company, and it affects your happiness level there. It's pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys have all heard that story from Zig Ziglar or just that example. It's pretty interesting.
Well, it kind of goes along with the reading about we need to be congratulatory towards someone who gets a big account that we wanted, or who seems to get a lot more credit for a project that we felt we equally were involved in, and not be spiteful about it, but to kind of switch up our thinking in terms of, oh, hey, yeah, congratulations on you getting that account. I think that'll be a good fit for you, or whatever. But it all starts within our head, and how we can turn it around and make it better and make it more positive.
I think in the business world, well, even at church, sometimes when people tell you thank you, we don't. It's hard to take. It's hard to accept compliments from people, and so having that mindset that you can be humble enough to accept when people tell you thank you is another key part of this.
But when you think about gratitude and appreciation, that's kind of one of the things that we where I work, it's in a nursing home, so that for our frontline staff who are nurse aides who are taking care of our residents day in and day out, making sure that their needs, lots of times, sometimes you think you can put money towards it, but that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for the appreciation, a thank you, a pat on the back. Sometimes that can go a lot further than anything else, just to show them that you appreciate them for what they're doing, and and have that positive impact on them.
Yeah, this is going interestingly, kind of along some interesting lines here that we'll get to in a minute. The last question from the agenda that we have: what are the barriers to expressing gratitude, and how can they be overcome? My first thought was that maybe an employee or an employer or a supervisor or whatever, they're afraid or they're embarrassed that they're going to have this warm fuzzy moment in this clawing corporate culture that doesn't fit, and they're afraid or they're embarrassed. Those are the first two thoughts that came to my mind.
Afraid to give of themselves because they try to keep this exterior about them, that that they, I've got to be stronger, I've got to be bigger, or however you want to say it, and to possibly thank someone or show appreciation can be a scary idea for them, because then they don't know in return what they're going to get on the from the person that they're expressing that to.
Okay.
Company culture has a lot to do with it. If the culture allows for and encourages thanks and gratitude, then it's easier to get and have there. But if it's not part of the company culture, then it makes it can create awkward moments.
Mm-hmm. We talked just a little bit earlier. Oh.
AJ says, I think a kind of barrier is a fear or awkward feeling when giving gratitude on a normal basis.
Mm-hmm.
Can you read that one more time, Benny? I didn't catch that.
He said it's that he feels that that it's fear can play a big part in that when you're trying to give gratitude as part of a normal basis, that people's fears and perceptions.
Okay, yeah, perception. Yeah, how am I going to be perceived if I say this or do this?
Mm-hmm. In the lesson from A Divine Gift of Gratitude from President Monson, I found it interesting. Of course, I told you I work in a nursing home, and we also know that President Monson said when he had a feeling that he needed to go and meet someone or do something, and he didn't do it that one time, and by the time he got to the hospital, the gentleman had passed away. But in this particular part, he says, I visited one late one night. It was midnight, and I went to the nursing home, and the receptionist said, I'm sure she's asleep, but she told me to be sure to wake her, for she said, I know he'll come. I held her hand. She called my name. She was wide awake. She pressed her hands to my lips and said, I knew you'd come. And and then he goes on and says, how could I not come? And I know sometimes when we think about gratitude and we get busy in our daily lives, we're all of different ages. We've got children, we've got, things going on, but we need to remember that showing that gratitude, whether it's from the CEO of the business, the main person, down the chain to everyone else, showing appreciation and gratitude for what somebody does for you takes over everything. Like Cheryl said, the warm fuzzies are most of the time the most important things. For me, it is, anyways. For you all, I'm not sure, but showing that appreciation is, I think, what makes the difference. Having a kind word about someone,
And it's not going to kill you.
No, it will not. And, to some degree, I think that's why things in the world have gone to what they have.
Yeah, I think the competition in the world, especially in the business world, has taken over a little bit everything. And going back to Stephen Covey's book, the win-lose mentality is still incredibly dominant in the business world. And
yes,
showing weakness is not a good thing, and you've got to out poker face the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Okay. I've got 3 quick little questions that I came up with, just that kind of came to my head. I want to bounce them off. I think we've actually kind of addressed them a little bit. We're asked to express gratitude to 3 people in our lives. Hopefully, we've expressed gratitude at work when coworkers helped us with a project or made our job a little bit easier. Have there been times when someone has expressed gratitude to you? Because this is all on us to express the gratitude. But I want to flip it a little bit. What is it like when people express gratitude to you for a job well done?
Oh, that's okay. It's not, sometimes I don't know what to say to somebody when they're appreciating me for something I've done. Just
Okay.
thank you, or, something like that. I sometimes find it hard to find those right words to tell them back.
I would agree. It's just a thank you. I'm just doing my job.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that's the hardest one.
So it's easier to give and express gratitude than it is to accept it or hear it come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Better to give than to receive.
AJ said it creates a nice feeling, and sometimes it can be hard.
Mm-hmm. Yes. True, AJ.
Yeah. Let me catch up here. Sorry, guys. Let me just catch up. Okay, here's another one. You have to be in a position of leadership, either at work or in the church, to teach or express gratitude.
Can you repeat that again, Cheryl? I'm sorry.
Okay. Do you have to be in a position of leadership, either at work or at church, to teach gratitude?
No. Anybody can do that.
I agree with Carolyn. I think that I think everyone, can really express gratitude and there's a lot of different ways, like sometimes it's just like a smile instead of actually like saying thank you or saying, or expressing gratitude. It's just, I think people can definitely be leaders to teach it, like they can be an example of what gratitude would be. Anyone can be an example of what gratitude should be, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And AJ says the same thing. He says, anybody can show gratitude, but we need to show it by example too.
Oh, good idea, AJ. Okay, now this is one that we touched on just a little bit in our comments up above, but I want to get specific about this. This is an either or question. Would you rather have a raise in salary once a year or encouragement and appreciation throughout the year?
Encouragement and appreciation throughout the year. A raise is nice. Don't get me wrong. We all need that. But in my current position, if my boss would show a little appreciation, I think it would go a lot further. We have some real contention in the facility amongst staff, and I think if she would show a little bit of leadership and appreciation for what people do, I think it would go a long way.
It's kind of funny. I feel like my boss is almost opposite. I feel like he's actually pretty good at showing like appreciation to everyone, but then like is very, very reluctant to give anyone like a raise. So it's almost like, in my mind, I'm like thinking, well, probably a raise But now I'm thinking like, well, I don't know. I mean, that's a tough question. I don't. I honestly, position with
It
where
is
I'm
a
at
tough
right now
question.
in my life. Yeah, I feel like I would probably go with the raise just because of where I'm at in my life. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, appreciation, as much as you get, is not going to pay your light bill or
right,
fix the car. I mean, so reality is reality.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, in
AJ says the same
reality,
thing.
yeah.
AJ's saying that sometimes you need, the position you're in, you need the money, and so it just depends on where you're at in life.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
That is true.
Okay. Any concluding comments or thoughts or things I missed or things you want to
I was just going to say one
get
more
off your
thing
chest?
that kind of goes along with it is I think part of this too is generational.
Mm-hmm.
We have a real young manager at my company that we had a new marketing director that was hired, and she felt like she had overstepped her bounds a little bit and wanted to come and apologize to this young manager for what she perceived to have been a bad fault on her part, and he didn't know how to take it at all. He was just like, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. But she was really trying to sincerely apologize because she felt like she had made a big mistake, and she's not that much older than he is, but he didn't have any idea or clue at all at how to accept it and how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've seen others around the plant that are younger as well, in that younger generation that I don't know if they never experienced it, so they don't know how to act.
Mm-hmm.
It might be generational, Benny. That's a good point.
Yep. I was doing another class, but then before I got on there, I had an email I was looking at, and it said leadership for millennials. And I haven't gotten into that yet, but I will, because we have a lot of millennials where I work. But I do the generational gap between, you know, um, management. There's 15, 20 years, 25 years between some of the staff, um, and then the younger staff that work, and sometimes and the different management styles have a big part to do with that.
Yeah, management style. That's one I never thought of either.
Mm-hmm. Because some of the older ones, it's no nonsense. This is the way it's going to be. Let's get it done. And for some of the younger generation, it don't quite work that way. It's what are you going to do for me to get what I need?
Yeah.
What are you going to do for me so that I can do this for you?
Take care of me first before I step out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting dilemma, that's for sure. And then you've got the ones who are suspicious. If it's kind of
Yes.
out of the blue and they're not used to it, it's like, well, why are you saying that? What do you want?
Yeah.
Now it's all this
Yeah.
ulterior motive and, throwing more into it than there really is, or taking more out of it than, that whole quandary.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Yeah.
think if we were able to express appreciation or gratitude to people, especially that we work with, on a more regular basis, they'll see that that's part of us and that's just an element of who we are, and they can take it or leave it, and that's on them. We've done our part.
Exactly.
If we're genuine, we've genuinely and sincerely expressed our appreciation and our gratitude for what they've done or helped us with, or went the extra mile or whatever, and eventually they'll realize it for what it is.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So.
And then I think each one of us, we've talked about gratitude, but we also need to count our blessings on a daily basis as to ourselves and how we can show appreciation to others, and not just because it's a special day.
Right. Yeah. And I think there's really a purpose in the way that we're taught to pray. We call on Heavenly Father and then we thank Him first. So
Yes.
let's get this right.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually found myself giving prayers just of gratitude. Sometimes my heart gets so full and I see that, all the stars are aligned and I'm grateful for that. Then I just start, rattling off the laundry list of things I'm thankful for. And I think that's okay too.
Yes.
So should I stop the broadcast?
Yeah. If we've answered all questions, I think
That's all I've got.
good.
Yeah. Like, again, unless anybody else has anything else they want to add or type, AJ, in your case.
Thanks, Cheryl, for stepping up and taking the leadership role this week. I really appreciate it. So.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Cheryl.
Okay, guys, let's sing the chorus. Let's go. I appreciate it. Thank you guys very much. I just looked at the calendar. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna email Joshua. He's supposed to do this next week, so we'll see what happens with that. And I will get the link. Let me stop this real quick.